Right then, so I understand this is the first session after lunch, okay? So I have to keep it interesting, okay? Because the metabolism may be kicking in and you guys may be feeling a bit sleepy. But I think you will be interested in the insights that we have. Since the start of the day, we've been discussing how AI can generate value. And we see that this has been considered as a challenge, okay? But what I want to share with you is that we've got the numbers. We have been patient with our AI initiatives. And during the award ceremony, you would have noticed that Ooredoo Qatar also got an award for AI in action. And the number speaks louder there. So 40 to 60% reduction in churn, okay? 3x increase in customer engagement. 2.5x increased penetration on the digital channels. So this is what we've got through the use cases which we are running on Teradata and other partners. So I'll be talking about the, I think I need the slides. I think everybody had a heavy lunch today. Yeah. Okay. Chicken was good, right? Okay. Great. I think it's working. Thank you very much. So I'll be talking about the AI-powered customer engagement. Now, as I mentioned, there are like a lot of use cases that we'll be discussing. And in the end, you'll see the numbers, the impact, because it's all about the ROI that you get from the machine learning and AI use cases. Now, before I proceed with the use cases, first of all, I want to introduce my company, my organization, and myself. So we are a telecom company. We are a telecom leader in Qatar. So Qatar is a country in the Middle East. I think most of you would be familiar, because the last FIFA World Cup that took place, it was in Qatar in 2022. So we are a $66.3 billion company. We've got around 52 million customers, not just located in Qatar. We are in 9 geographies. So in 9 countries, including Indonesia in the east, and Algeria in the west, and 6 countries in between, okay, in the Middle East. So we are present in different geographies. We also have largest independent tower companies along with Zain. So we have 49% share of the tower companies. We've got 5 million IoT devices. So we're not just in the business of the telecom, voice, and data. We are also into a B2B business where we serve a customer with the IoT devices. We are quite impactful in terms of fintech. So again, not just the GSM, but the fintech. Fiber in the Gulf, we've got the biggest one. We've got active data center. Again, that's the B2B area that we serve. And we also have a partnership with NVIDIA. So we provide customers with a sovereign AI cloud services where they can use the GPUs and they don't have to have their own on-prem solution. So that's what Ooredoo is. Okay, who am I? Okay, so I'm the data guy. So for the last 22 years, I've been working in analytics and data science. That's what I've done in my career, nothing else. Out of that, 20 years in the telecom industry. So I've worked for different telecom operators, for Batelco, for Proximus in Belgium, for STC, Zain, Telenor Pakistan. Then I ended up in Ooredoo Qatar. 6 years with Ooredoo Qatar. When I said that we've been patient with our AI initiative, so they did not succeed from the start. We had to wait. We had to polish them. We had to do some hard sell before they succeeded. So for the last 6 years, I've been working on different use cases at Ooredoo Qatar. And my expertise are in enabling the CVM tech stack and analytics. So the real-time triggers or the contextual marketing, this is something which I do along with my data analytics background. Before we proceed with the actual use cases, this is something which was written on the salary slip of a company I've worked for quite some time. So it says, our customers pay our salaries, take care of them, or someone else will. This someone else will was really imprinted in our way of work, because we knew that if we don't take care of our customer, There are a lot of people out there who will just acquire those customers, and they'll migrate from our services. So they put that on the salary slip, and I think that was a very smart move, because that gives you the value of your customers. You are there because of your customers. Now, talking about the use cases, there are 4 use cases that I will be talking about. Obviously, I'll go through the detail as well, because the idea of this session is that you get some key takeaways. Maybe you'll be able to draw parallels. We are a telco. You may be a part of some other industry. But I think when it comes to the execution of the use cases and the way we leverage the data residing in Teradata and the pipelines that we create and the machine learning algorithms, I think you can reuse those learnings into your work. So the first one is to understand your customers via customer personas and segments. Seems pretty easy, but you'll see the applications we've got. It wasn't about the complexity of the use case. It was more about the application that in different campaigns and different flavors that we've created for customer personas that has helped us in varied CVM campaigns. The second one, and the most important one, slightly complex, that's the recommendation system. So we started with NBO, which is the next best offer. So before we actually had the NBO or NBA, we had a rule-based algorithm to recommend the product. Because like in telco, there are a lot of products. I mean, we have around 170 different products which are above the line, which means these are there for the customers to take on their own. Apart from above the line products, there are almost similar below the line products as well. These are customized products. So these are the products which vary based on your behavior, on the customer basis of the customer behavior. So we started with NBO. For every customer, like the segment of 1 that we talk about, we actually live the segment of 1. So for every customer, we have a specific offer or a product tagged against their MSISD, and those of you who are familiar, otherwise it's a cell number against which we put a product. But we moved on. So after the NBO, we went with NBA, the next best action. We thought, why just live with the next best offer when there are so many things? There's an upsell, there's a cross-sell, there's a churn, okay? So why not, and then there are customer complaints. So why not put everything in, run a machine learning algorithm on it, and get a next best action? You'll see how we've done it. So actually, we'll show you under the hood how things are working, and this is in practice. Then the age-old use case of customer retention and value management. So when I'll show you the value, okay, the ROI or incremental revenue, you'll see that the customer retention and the value management gives you the most. Why? Because retaining a customer is more economical than acquiring a customer. At times, they say it's like 25x more economical to retain a customer, because if the customer is happy, you will be able to retain them. And then it will be easier to do the upsell as well. Last one, and a very interesting use case, okay, it's the understanding voice of customer. And I've included a demo in that voice of customer use case as well, because previously we were analyzing the data. These are basically all the surveys. So whenever a customer calls our call center or visits our retail store, goes for roaming, okay, uses our data, we also send out a survey request to those customers. So when the request, the survey comes back, we load it into Teradata using some of the qualitative variables. And previously, we were just analyzing the data using SQL and some dashboards. Again, we thought, why not innovate a bit with this Gen AI and everything? So what we did, we created a knowledge bot on top of it. So at the end of the presentation, I've kept a demo. Okay? In the interest of time, it's a recorded demo, but you'll see how our business users actually just put a prompt, and then they get the answers in the form of charts and quantitative numbers. And also the qualitative suggestions are there. So these are the 4 use cases that I'll be talking about. But before that, we need to think about the customer engagement, okay? Because this session is about customer engagement. And if you recall, before AI and chatbot, when you used to call the call center, what you used to hear? Your call is important to us. And what does that mean? Wait for 45 minutes. Now at least the chatbot is there. He like refuses you immediately, but at least you don't have to wait for 45 minutes. So the engagement with AI has gone further. Okay. So previously you used to have the static FAQs, the email forms, the phone lines, this and that. I don't have to go through it. But when it comes to the customer engagement with AI, it is way beyond the chatbots. It's not about the automated response. It's about understanding the customers. Because the customer now also expect that you give them a personalized experience. And by virtue of being a telco, we've got so many data points. Whenever a customer uses our service at every touch point, we actually record that data. We know which applications they use. We know how much data they use. We know where they live. Okay. We know what's their behavior, in terms of recharges, top-ups, bill payment, who have good credit scores. We have a lot of information. So if we have all of this under the legal parameters, obviously, okay. So we have to go beyond the conversation. So it's more about creating a context with all of these data points. So that's where we are leading. Not just an automated response, not just a call to action, but it's beyond conversation. It's about creating a context so that when you talk to the customer, you know what are their preferences, and then you can accordingly tailor your response. Now, when it comes to the customer engagement in the age of AI, obviously it has created higher efficiencies. What I mean by that? So previously, what we used to do, we used to create the funnels manually. So for example, if my customer comes to me, like my internal customer, the CVM team or the business team, product acquisition team, so they will ask me that, Ali, we need to create a campaign, an acquisition campaign for our high-value customers who are residing in this area, who may have more likelihood for a certain product. Now, the team of analysts, they will try to mimic this. Okay, they will write an SQL query and create a funnel. Or you take one step ahead. You basically create a drag and drop kind of a workflow, and then you'll create that campaign. With AI, we've moved beyond that. We've moved beyond that. We don't have to do all of these manual things. There's a higher efficiency. So the campaigns can be done on their own. When I said we have the NBO and NBA, so now you don't need the manual workflows. The machine learning is taking care of it. So based on the behavioral parameters for our customers that we get, the machine learning adapts the recommended offers or the recommended actions, and you don't need to create a specific campaign for the customer. The next best action will take care of it. So that's the higher efficiency I'm talking about. Improved personalization, very important, because personalization is the name of the game. Yesterday, I was touching upon it in the partner session that in telecom market, pricing is the same. If today we change the price of a plan, our competitors will do the same during the same day. So pricing is not a differentiator. It's the personalization that's a differentiator. How do you understand your customer, and then you offer them the right product? And with all the data that we have, that's possible. That's what we've done. Again, the third point is similar to my second point, that the data and the AI that gives us the chance to have a better understanding of our customers. I was just mentioning some of the data points. When we'll go to the persona and the segments, you'll see what else we can do, and we've done. And lastly, more effective budget utilization, because in the end, AI and data and all these initiatives, they have to create the efficiencies. So if you have a proper next best action, you will know which offer to pitch, at what time you have to pitch, on which channel you have to pitch. If I'm a more digital customer, I may not like an offer to be on SMS. I may need an app notification. So this way, or maybe, if I'm a digital user, maybe you can target me through Meta. But there's no need to just go all out, spray and pray. It's not needed anymore. You have all those data points, and if you use these data points to your advantage, you can have the efficiencies in terms of the budget utilization. Now, I'll talk about, before jumping again to the use cases, I'll talk about the ecosystem, because it's very important that you see that there are two tangents here. On the left side of yours, you can see that we've got the tool, tech, data, and insight. These are more of the platform-related things, more of tangible things. On the other side, you've got the processes, people, organization, and partner. That's the way of work, the intangible things. If you ask me which one is important, I'll say both are important. And how did we do it? For the tools, tech, so we've got a Teradata platform that provides us the single version of truth, the enterprise data warehouse. Then we've got the CVM platform from Flytext, you will see after a while. Then we've got a machine learning platform as Data IQ that we utilize, okay? And then we have, like, the insights. So these are the knowledge, the business knowledge that we've gathered over time, and we've created knowledge frameworks which can be utilized by our CVM team. But the story doesn't end here, because if you get the best stack and your way of work is not aligned, you will not be able to deliver this. So the processes, recently we've started more effort, although we are quite mature data organization, but we felt the need that we need to have a proper data governance. Now, data governance is not a new thing, but we found out that our definitions were a bit of a mess, okay? What's the active base? Okay, what's the, what do you call it? No play customer for us, customer whom, like a minimum threshold for which you need to consider that customer to be active, okay? So those are the kind of things, like the definitions. We've started working on this with much more rigor, because now there are more and more business users. So the data governance is important. People, we have trained 120 resources so far. So I had data analytics and AI, but I'm more of a COE, okay? I'm a shared function. I cannot become a bottleneck. So what we did with this, we did regular trainings for our dashboarding tools, for Teradata, for business objects. That's like a tool used for enterprise reporting, so that people are able to utilize the information. I can have wonderful data, a great data warehouse, but if my business users are not well equipped, they will not be able to leverage the value out of it. Again, the third part is the organization. So you need to have the focused areas. You need to have the accountability in place that, fine, there will be a data science team, there will be a CVM team, there will be, let's say, a data analytics team. Okay, so you have to structure your team in a way that they're able to work on their roadmaps. So this is something which we did over time. We did not do it from the start. After a while, we realized that we need to work on the organization, and we did that. Last one, an important one, is the partner. You don't have to reinvent everything. So you need to have the right partners. We've got Teradata. We've been using Teradata for the last 18 years now, okay? And it is definitely helping us. Recently, we started working with Google, okay? So it has given us access to their AI tools, okay? The knowledge bots I was talking about, we did that by Google. Recently, we've moved Teradata and Data IQ, which is our machine learning and AI platform, to GCP. That has given us scale, more liberty, okay? So our daily batch runs without errors. It has squeezed, which leaves more time for the business users to run their queries and frameworks. So having the right partners is the decision that you need to make wisely. And then when we talk about the stack, as I mentioned, Teradata sits at the bottom, okay, which is our enterprise data warehouse, or the single version of the truth. We've got the Data IQ, okay? Then we've got Click, which is the dashboarding tool, okay? And then we are also looking at Google Looker and some of the Microsoft tools alongside. We haven't created a spaghetti architecture, but we do look for new use cases and tools so that they can cover any gaps. Yeah, so now comes the data ecosystem, really important. What do we do? Fine, we have the data in place, we have the use cases in place, but what's under the hood? What's the nature of work that we do? So first of all, what's really important on the left side is our data warehouse. That's really important. That's a key element for us. And that's where we've invested a lot. So within this, and this is the biggest data repository that we have within the organization. So what we do, whenever a new product comes in, we make sure that the data for that particular product goes into the data warehouse. We are not successful all the time because sometimes people say, oh, this is very important and creating a data pipeline may take time, so leave us. But then we create an audit objection that, yes, we leave you for now, but you have to create the data pipeline. But this has helped. Because now, for all the reporting that my team does, they don't go out of the data warehouse. There are no silos at all. Yes, within the data warehouse, we've kept the provision of sandboxes. Okay, so they can just, users can, or my team can forklift some of the systems into the data warehouse before they are properly ingested into the CLDM, the Communications Logical Data Model. But then this is the centralized part, the single version of truth I'll be talking about. Now, what are the 4 areas I usually handle? So the first one is the organic growth via insights. This is my bread and butter. So every day, dozens of KPIs go out of the data warehouse. We are quite a data-driven organization, which has its pros and cons. What are the pros? Obviously, the business gets the benefit. What are the cons? It's a 24/7 job. So there are no weekends, because the business runs over the weekend as well for telecom companies, because you guys use your phones, okay? So if there is no downtime, okay? The recharge will happen, the billing will happen, everything goes on. So the organic growth via insight is the first thing that we do. The second thing is the AI and machine learning-based customer engagement. So that's where the use cases come in, which we will cover later. Then we've got the data democratization. That's an important one. When we looked at the processes, you would have seen that we are training our business users. So that's that part. Regular trainings go on. And the last one is the insight monetization. So recently, we've started looking into external customers as well. So we have some mobility analytics solution, which I will not cover today, but maybe some other time. So what we do, we actually use our first-party telco data, and we sell them anonymously to some of the external customers, again, within the legal boundaries. So we have a few customers in Qatar who actually buy those anonymized insights, because there's a billboard company that actually gets those insights, and they value their billboard based on the footfall. And then there is, within the stadiums and sports city, we actually sell these insights. Now, talking about the single version of truth. So you saw that we keep all our data within the data warehouse. That's really important for us. And the data governance mechanism that we are working on, it also focuses on the importance of having a single version of truth. See, it may sound a bit boring with all the use case and other thing that you should be talking about single version of truth, but what I've learned over time, that you have to keep your foundations right. Okay, so keeping a single version of truth was my biggest lesson. Yes, when we look at the Ooredoo journey, we looked at the business needs, the architecture, the integration, all of these things. But if this is your vision, that I want to keep the single version of truth, I think things will fall in place. Now, talking about the single version of truth, there are 4 elements there, which we went through. So first one, the data governance, I did talk about it, that now we are looking into the definitions, the data quality. We've tagged our data into sensitive data and the public data, and let's say data which can be shared with the business users, but all the data is being tagged right now. So there's a proper project going on, which actually does that for us. And there are people from different departments part of it. Then we've got the ease of access. Okay, so we have tools in place like Click and Business Objects, and Looker is also coming into picture from Google, which we will be using. MDM, the glossaries and definitions, a really important point. Okay, so we plan to use Denodo for this, okay, to help us keeping our metadata. And then the centralized data. Okay, so this is this is my favorite. Okay, I don't want the data silos. Because the worst, the most frustrating thing is that when you have the data warehouse in place, and then still if people come up with silos, this is something we should not resist. Okay, so what we've kept in our organization, we don't encourage any silos. If the data has to be there, it has to be there in the data warehouse, not outside. And there are obviously quite a few benefits. Now, the other thing that we did was that we, during the last 6 years or so, we climbed the ladder of maturity. So we started with, you would have seen this. I think in most of the Teradata presentation, you see that they actually mention this, that there are like 4 steps. First one tells you that what has happened. This is more of the descriptive part. Then you've got why did it happen, which is the more diagnostic. Okay. Then the next step is what will happen, which is more predictive, where machine learning comes into picture. And then we've got how can we make it happen. That's the most interesting one. That's my favorite, because that's the prescriptive one. So when I take my churn prediction models to my business users, I don't just tell them that these are the customers who will churn in the next 45 days. I tell them that this is their preferred channel, this is their preferred product, this is their behavior, and this is what I feel you should be engaging them. So there's like a crosstab kind of a thing, a sheet that we tell them, this is the treatment of customers who are about to churn. So this falls more into the last part, which is how can we make it happen? How can we reduce the churn? But obviously, every organization will go step by step. We also went step by step. I did not have any data scientist when I started. Now I have a proper data science team. Okay, so this happens with time. Now, talking about the first use case, okay, that's the machine learning-based customer persona and predictive profiling. Now you see that what we've done so far. So it's not about grouping the customers. So we do the lookalike customers. For example, if I want to see the high-value customers, I can do lookalike. So in telco, there is a thing called multi-SIMmer. So there are customers who use SIMs from multiple networks. They are value seekers. So what we usually do, we try to find out the multi-SIMmers or value seekers, and then we do a lookalike using machine learning. So now in the whole base of Ooredoo Qatar, we know how many of the customers are value seekers, and we treat them accordingly. Like, I mean, we give them aggressive offers so that they don't go to the competitor. Income prediction, using your cell phone. Okay, we are able to predict what's your socioeconomic class in most cases. Yeah, we can be wrong in some cases, but mostly it's accurate. And secondly, in the income prediction, we also bring in the social network analysis. Okay, so there are certain parameters that we use which gives us an idea that what would be the income of that particular customer, and then we can give them the right offers. Mobility segmentation, so we tag our whole base with their home location and office location. So if a new retail store has to pop up for Ooredoo Qatar, we know which customers we need to send out an SMS or app notification. And there is a specific algorithm behind it. So the time a customer spends on a certain cell site for 3 months during the night is their home location. Yes, there can be some paramedic staff who usually go out, but for 3 months they may not have the same duty. It changes over time, right? So that's the mobility segmentation, and we use it for different campaigns. Then we've got the lifestyle segmentation. Again, this is based on the apps that customers use. So we do the deep packet inspection. So if there's a customer who's into sports, we will know, because the apps which are categorized for sports do show up in our data warehouse. Product affinity analysis, again, this is used for next best offer. Then we've got the lifestyle segmentation. Okay, so youth and let's say middle-aged or senior citizens, because there are certain campaigns which are specifically for youth, certain plans for youth, so we have to identify those customers. And the age which comes in and the CRM is not relevant for us. We don't use that. We actually predict what's the age of the customer, because at times, one customer in the household buys all the SIMs. So you cannot rely on that. So if a customer is using Discord, Instagram, Pinterest, he may not be a senior customer or maybe middle age. Okay, so it has to be a teenager or somebody who's young. Use all of them? See, machine learning can have some error, okay? I can't be 100% accurate. Social media profiling and behavioral segmentation, again, using the customer attributes, we do that. So this is the first use case. What we do all of these segmentation, and we push it to the CVM system, and then they use it for different CVM campaigns throughout the month. And when you look at the landscape, I'll just quickly take you through. So we have the Teradata and Informatica at the bottom, where all the BSS stack gets pushed into. Then we've got, again, the tools which I mentioned before, the Dataiku, Business Objects, Teradata, CleverTap, Flytext, Gemini, ClickSense. And then we've got different types of analysis and the data analytics framework sitting at the top, which includes advanced analytics, predictive, and prescriptive as well. So this is the journey that we've gone through over time. We did not had all of this from the start, but then over time we've built it. The second use case, and which has a lot of money in it. I think if I have to make my business case even, break even, so it's the recommendation system and the churn. These are the two use cases which will do that. So in this one, you can see that we have all the information in the form of transaction history. And what's the the mantra of this? It's that the right offer at the right time with automation. So no business user or marketer has to do anything. Machine learning takes care of it. So within this, we look at the transaction history. We've got the marketing initiative. It means that you want to do an upsell, cross-sell, or retention stimulation. We've got a product catalog. Remember, I told you we've got 170 above the line offers and similar below the line. So we push the product catalog in. We've got other data elements, the KYC, nationality, and other things, language, this and that, which goes in, because if you are running a next best action, you need to know everything. Once it goes in, using the machine learning algorithms, okay? So you can imagine that all of these are different data science models. Upsell, cross-sell, retention will have multiple data science models running under it. And then these data science models push their feeds into an orchestration model, which is the next best action. So once that is done, we also find out that what's the channel that we will use, okay? Whether you want to do a digital ad or a real-time ad, this is something which also our next best action tells us. Once all of this is done, for each customer, you have a unique action with a unique offer. This gets refreshed on a daily basis. So this is the automation that we've done with all the different kind of data science models. And this is where we will get a lot of benefit, because this is the next generation of the customer value management. Obviously, a lot of benefits. I'll leave that for now because we have a bit to cover. Now, the second one, I think I don't have to explain this, customer retention and customer churn. How do we do it? We've got different products. So we've got prepaid, we've got postpaid GSM, we've got fixed as well, and we've got the mobile broadband. So all of these models, and then again, I'll add some complexity. So there are products for B2C, and then there are products for B2B. Now, for all of these products, we've got the customer churn prevention model. What does it do? It basically spits out at the start of the month who are the customers who will churn in the next 45 days. These customers are currently active, but they will churn. So we take like the top 2 percentiles, okay, because of the bandwidth of our retention team, and we give them the lead set that you need to engage these customers. Obviously, as I said, I won't repeat again, there are a lot of benefits of retaining the customer than acquiring them. And I'm proud to say this, that for the last 2 years, we are running these churn models. We've brought down the churn by 60%. We are at the lowest churn ever for our products. Yes, part of it, we can take the credit. Part of it is that we've also worked on the quality of acquisition. So there are other models that we've given to the team for quality of sale. So when they move the customers from prepaid to postpaid, they don't just randomly move the customer, because there's a telesales agent who calls, okay, sir, you have the potential to be a postpaid customer, why don't you move? You have like a high usage. But we do it based on the recommendation of another model. So we've covered all bases. We've covered the acquisition and we've covered the churn. That's why we've got to the lowest churn for our base. Now the last use case is the voice of customer and the sentiment analytics. I did touch upon it, that for different touch points, we run the surveys. Now, during those surveys, customers can give free text feedback, or they can give rating as well. They can say, lousy data, okay, bad service. Or they can say, excellent service, very good pricing. But this is free text. Alongside, they also mention rating from 1 to 5. Now, before we brought this use case in, our quality team used to do manual analysis, especially on the free text. Now you will see that we've automated that as well. So what we've done, we've created the GenAI knowledge bots. So when the survey is conducted for all of these touch points, we source the data. Now, some of the data, if you're familiar, there's a tool called Qualtrics, okay, which runs the surveys. So the data comes from Qualtrics and Teradata. I have the architecture diagram afterwards as well. We pre-process the data, we load it into the GCP. Then we've got the Google agent space. So this was in beta version when we started working with Google. Now, I mean, it has gone out, okay? So it has evolved with us, okay? So then what we do, we define our objective, we set the context in the form of a prompt, okay? Then we assign a persona, okay? Because whenever you use a GenAI prompt, you need to mention what kind of persona it has to use within the prompt, okay? And then afterwards, we give the output format. Interestingly, the bot that we've created, you'll see in the demo, it provides the text-based output as well as graphs. So if business users want to place it in the presentation, they can directly do it. So there are like different benefits. It has accelerated the insight generation. Previously, the users used to log a query in Jira. My team used to pick it up, and then they had to work using an SQL query and provide them with a response, or they have to do it themselves using a self-service tool like Click or BO. But with this, they just write a prompt, wait for a while. Okay, we are working on that we even reduce that query time which goes to and fro. We've automated the sentiment and theme extraction. Like I said, it's a free text. It says, if it says excellent service, you don't know whether it's a network data or network voice or whatever, but using Gen AI, it is able to extract, like it is able to relate what the customer is talking. Then we also integrated the insights into workflows, okay? So within the CSAT journey, okay, we bring in elements, we've loaded it into BigQuery, where all the insights coming from different systems have been integrated. And this has enabled the real-time dashboards. So no effort is required to have those graphs and charts, which you'll see in a while. How does it work? So we've got the data, the customer survey data in Qualtrics, and some of the data comes from CRM billing. It goes into the data warehouse, because again, that's a single version of truth for us. Then we have a data IQ pipeline. So on a daily basis, multiple surveys run. Okay, these are in thousands on different touch points, retail, call center, and others. Data IQ pipeline runs, and it loads data into the BigQuery. Then on BigQuery, we have the Google agent space. So that's where we've trained the agent. And we like kept on training it. It still makes some mistakes, but it's highly accurate. Like, I mean, it's performing beyond our expectation right now. And then the CEX expert actually just have to share a prompt, and nothing has to be done apart from that. The response is there. This is how the interface looks like, okay? So there are different agents, okay? We've called our agent Echo Mind, okay, because it echoes what we think, okay? And you'll see the demo now, okay? Okay, so I've recorded the demo in the interest of time. Tell me about the surveys present for analysis, okay? So it tells me that there is retail, there's broadband, there's contact center, there's international roaming, there's network. So all of these surveys, these are different touch points, okay? Then I ask him, can you analyze the satisfaction score for each survey type? It shows it was thinking, and then it comes up with the score. So the score is out of 5. So you can see that the graph is created. It gives me a qualitative feedback about the high satisfaction, the area of improvement, the moderate satisfaction you can see, and the recommendation as well at the bottom. This is all coming from GenAI. Give me the percentage, okay, for international roaming, okay, and the top 2 boxes, it gives me that. Give me the score in roaming survey for Qataris while roaming in UK. It was not able to give me the response. I put it again, then it gave me a response 3.57 out of 5. What is the average satisfaction score for all customers? Okay. In roaming in UK, it gives me that. Show the average score by month for the retail. Again, graph, and then it gives me a descriptive survey, descriptive response. What are the topics of comments for September 2025 for customer rating from 1 to 3? The key findings are, now this is something which the users were doing manually before, going through the free text. It has done it on its own. So this is just a sneak peek into the knowledge bot that we've created on top of the VOC surveys, voice of customer surveys. We plan to expand it. We plan to bring in more data sources because this is just one use case. Now that we've tested the whole life cycle and the whole data pipeline and the journey, we are in a position to quickly expand that. Now talking about the results, as I said, it's not about the PowerPoint, okay? It's about the numbers. Churn, I've already mentioned, we've reduced the churn. We are at the lowest churn right now in our fixed product. In our GSM, Shahri is the postpaid product, what we call. So the postpaid product has the lowest churn right now, okay? And even the mobile broadband and B2B is at the lowest churn. Now, when it comes to CVM engaged base, we've increased the engagement by 3x during a year. So starting from January till now, we've increased the engagement. What does that mean? It means that the customers who are taking our offers, which we are pitching them, has gone up by 3x. We've increased the digital penetration because now we know what's the preferred channel. Customers who like to be on the digital channels, we just give them the notification. So it has gone up by 2.5x. The fourth one is really important, and that's related to the A/B testing. And I think if one learning I can share with you is that whenever you roll out a machine learning or AI use case, please do A/B testing. Because people will not trust that this use case is good. They need to see that how does it work. So whenever I'll give you an example that how do we do the A/B testing. So for example, there is a churn prediction use case. And it says that these are the customers who will churn. The model will spit out, for example, 100 customers who have the probability to churn. We'll leave 5 on the side. We'll take action on 95. The 5 are left for organic development or whatever they do on their own. Now, at the end of the month, when the marketing team takes action on the 95% of the customers, we see what's the difference in churn for both of these cohorts. Now, using this, we find out how many customers we incrementally saved. So it's not like how many customers the campaign has saved. It's like, incrementally, what's the difference between churn rate of both cohorts? And using this, we were able to share that we've increased the NIR from 1.4% to 8.6%. So this translates that had we not done all of these CVM activities, okay, we would have lost this opportunity between 1.4 to 8.6. This has gone up by more than 5 times, 5x. So this is the revenue protection. And this is the incremental revenue when you use the upsell. But obviously, there are some key learnings. Okay, that's my last slide. I've taken a bit of time. So first of all, there has to be a top-down endorsement or sponsorship. So you need to do this lobbying with the key sponsors, key people, because data science, data analytics maybe, people do understand and everything, but data science and machine learning, that's a hard sell. It's a cloud. For most people, they don't understand. So you need to lobby. You may have to talk to them and make them understand what it is. You need to identify the right partner in the technology infrastructure because like you see in the use cases, we did not do everything on our own. Although the development of the use cases was in-house, but when it comes to the technology, that was coming from our partner, which do put in a lot of effort in terms of R&D. Have a quality data and single source of truth. No compromise on this. Please make sure that you have data residing in one place and with good quality. Set up the right business KPIs to measure business goals. We said that we will work on churn, we'll work on the net incremental revenue, and then we just followed it. You know, this NIR, the net incremental revenue, this is part of the scorecard of our chief consumer officer and chief business officer. So they have to see what's happening on the net incremental revenue of CVM. Focus on experimentation and fail fast approach. I think you need to take a lot of bets. Don't shy away. Yeah, fail fast. Don't just keep on working on a certain use case, but you need to try out different opportunities because data has enabled you to do so. Upskill by continuously grooming the internal talent. You need to have these trainings for business users for your team. And the second last one is really important. You need to balance between the generative AI and machine learning. Machine learning is still quite important. And there would be some use cases where machine learning will work much better than Gen AI, but Gen AI is revolutionary. Okay. But again, you need to see what's the right lever to use. And the last point, continuously try. You will learn from failure to reach the top. I did not write this. Will Smith came to Qatar 6 months back. He was doing a session. And he said, and somehow it registered, and I never forget this. He said that you fail to succeed. You have to fail to succeed. There's nobody in this world who just went to the success in one go. There will always be people who will first have failures, and the AI projects and the AI use cases, I mean, they're not different. So there will be failures, but you have to just make sure that your vision has to be there. You need to know where you have to reach at the end, and there will be obstacles, but eventually, if you have a proper vision, direction, you will reach there. That's pretty much it from my side. If you have any questions, please feel free.